Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and obviously the big trends on social media today are the Joe Biden Mika revelations. Although there are no real revelations, I did watch the entire almost 20-minute interview. I think it was 18 minutes in change, and though it was surprising at times to me, and we'll get into why, it certainly was not shocking. Now, before I get into the main story of the day, I want to remind everybody I have been fully demonetized on this platform. On the 6th, I believe I will be able to at least appeal that decision. But seeing as I have 0 community guideline strikes, I have 0 copyright strikes, I've never even been warned. I've only had one video turned to private. When I appealed that, I never even got a response. And that was because Erica Caramello Bar's name was mentioned on, I believe, the House floor at the time by Louis Gohmert. I didn't even say that name. So out of the almost 1,200 videos, I still have no idea, at least by YouTube, why I've been demonetized. They didn't even send me the form email that I got harmful content. The only email I got is that super chats were disabled. So every single month, and we really try to push towards that $5,000 goal, especially now that, they took a large portion of my income away. So if you can be that first donor today, $5, $10, $15, it absolutely does mean the world to me. Big donors out there. This is why we do independent media. So let's get into it. I'd say that the picture you're seeing right here of Mika Brzezinski was about as smiley as she got. So like I said in the beginning of this video, I was surprised, I was not shocked. Let's go over Joe Biden himself and his presentation in this. You got to love how Joe's always got that football right behind him. And I would say this is the most awake I've seen Biden in an interview in some time, maybe even in an appearance before that. It looks like they really said, hey, man, get your sleep, maybe hopped him up on some caffeine or God knows what. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist here, but he was sharper than he usually is. That's not saying much. I would say his biggest flub up in this was when he was talking about personal files. And then he said, well, when I say personal files, I mean personnel files. So he kind of caught himself there. Mika Brzezinski, what did she ask? What didn't she ask? What surprised me? What did not shock me? Now, she went harder than I thought she was going to do. I really thought this was going to be kind of a fluff apology piece. It was not that. It was not that. And anybody, I would suggest you go watch the whole thing, because she does bring up his hypocrisy with the Kavanaugh allegations, which again, was surprising for me. Again, Mika Brzezinski is the daughter of Zbigniew Brzezinski, a globalist, a policymaker, a behind the scenes string puller. Okay, this is a guy that literally helped create the Bilderberg Group, or I'm sorry, not the Bilderberg Group, the Trilateral Commission with David Rockefeller on the way to a Bilderberg meeting. That is factual. Look up how the Trilateral Commission began. And Brzezinski has had his hands in numerous administrations, probably most notably the Carter administration, where he was running around with the Mujahideen and the Muslim Brotherhood and Osama bin Laden, and using them as the freedom fighters against Russia during the quote-unquote Cold War. But his influence stretched far beyond that, and his daughter is probably one of the most recognizable pundits with her husband, Joe Scarborough, out there. So she does play the role of trying to quote-unquote press him hard on the Tara Reade issue. What doesn't she do? She doesn't really press him hard on what their relationship was then, in fact, as a staffer. In fact, when she asks about whether he remembers whether Joe remembers her being on his staff, Joe doesn't really give an answer. He just kind of eases past it, and then you just assume that obviously he knows who she is. And Biden is very careful here not to disparage this woman, to try to play that, Me Too left card, women should be heard narrative. But did you notice that she didn't mention any of the inappropriate videos or any of the other allegations or stories that have been written about Biden for years, right? I mean, you can go on any social media network and you can find video after 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 video of Biden touching women and children very inappropriately. Very inappropriately. On top of that, on this program, we've played the 2008 debates back in 2007, where each candidate had to say something nice about the candidate next to them. Dennis Kucinich happened to be next to Joe, and he said, "I like his wife." I mean, Joey B's been brazen about this type of behavior with women for some time, reimagining him as some kind of hero of identity politics is just absolutely ridiculous. Now, one of the other things that I didn't watch is after this, Mika let Joe actually talk about policy with her husband, Joe. I did not watch that portion of it, so I don't know if he fell apart there. But it seemed like they had him really prepped up here. She kept asking him if they were going to look into the documents, not only in the National Archives, but a library that Tara Reade has mentioned. I think that the majority of us that are thinking human beings know that these allegations are indeed legitimate. And another really disappointing, remember, this is supposed to be a hardcore interview, right? Another disappointing fact is she doesn't even mention the CNN Larry King call-in that Tara Reade has identified that it is indeed her mother, saying that there aren't the appropriate channels for her daughter to go through to report sexual assault allegations. And she even mentions kind of like a Stockholm syndrome that many people that have suffered sexual abuse suffer from, right? I'll use the example of the former Disney star Bella Thorne. You know, when she was a young teenage girl, we're talking about like 12, 13, 14. Remember, she said she was being sexually assaulted from the time she was 6 to 14. She thought she was in a real relationship. Therefore, she, had feelings for this person who was abusing her. And even the mother says, she's got so much respect that she doesn't want to come out and say this. So Mika Brzezinski, again, doesn't even mention the fact that that video exists, doesn't mention the fact that even Larry King had to talk about the video. He said, although he didn't remember it happening, he said it was absolutely valid and looking into on RT Network. RT, you're not supposed to say their name. Everything on RT is invalid, even though it was on the Rick Sanchez show. And guess who he used to work for, folks? CNN. And why do I say that like that? Because guess what? CNN on Google Play pulled that video down. And that's very troubling that we're going to continue to scrape real history. Okay? And Mika did not ask that question either. That would have been another one. If Mika had brought up either of those things, I would have been in shock. In shock. And of course, there really is no talk about his visible dementia and his mental decline. Again, Joey B looked great for Joey B today. Only one little flub up in that 19-minute interview, didn't fall asleep on camera, didn't talk about his hairy legs, none of that. But let's be honest, the media has totally given this man a pass on his crimes for the establishment. Most notably, the Ukrainian corruption, which they then flipped into a false impeachment, right? I mean, that's how wild these networks really are. And just because, again, it was made to look like she went hardcore on Joe Biden, there was a lot more out there that she could have asked about, guys. Folks, thumbs this video up, subscribe, and share. We're going to really try to start getting back to 3 to 7 times a day, guys. I think it's time to do that. It certainly doesn't feel normal where I am in New York State. I know it doesn't feel normal out there across the country, and I know a lot of people are in financial straits, but right now, this is now my only income. YouTube, again, won't allow me to build my audience, to monetize my content. Why? I don't know. I don't think I'm that harmful. We just read or basically looked at something that was in the mainstream and made commentary on it. Wow, is that so dangerous? So, again, $5, $10, $15, it means the world to me. Make sure you are subscribed. We're at 53,000 plus. I would love to hit 100,000. I don't even know if I'm going to be allowed on this platform, which is also very troubling. But at the same time, While I am here, I want you to check out my films that are free on this channel in the playlist section under documentaries: Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture. I am on Rockfin as well. I got 3,800 followers. Go make yourself a free account. Follow me over there. I'd love to hit 4,000. And then Tuesdays at noon, we do live streams over there that are free. Okay, and we put some exclusives out here. I have promised that I'm going to put the full Michael Flynn Jr. speech from the National File on here today, and I am going to do that, and that's going to be an exclusive for Rockfin. We'll make it premium for a while, but then we will make it free shortly. I want people to check me out over on Minds as well. We're posting there. And guys, I will be doing a video on Project Veritas because so many people have sent me the 2-minute clip videos of that. The 2-minute clip videos of that. Those are the ones over on Twitter, and they're definitely something I'm going to get into. But I would also want people to go check out this 10-minute video because it actually says a lot of things that are not in those 2-minute videos that may give everything a bit more context. So hopefully you'll be tuning into that later today. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the flip side.